Right, good day and welcome to learning exercise 6.31. Now in this year we're looking at the parabola, and specifically at parabola given in the form y equal to ax squared plus q. Basic introduction to parabola. General equation ax squared plus q. Take note, a can be positive or a can be negative. So from this you should know that the turning point in this format, my x value of my turning point is always 0 and my y value is always q. So whatever q goes in there and we get the turning point straight from the equation. Here turning point still stays 0 and q. Right? Now the a value decides the shape of the graph. So you should know when you're positive you're generally smiling, and guess what, the parabola is a smiling graph when the a value is positive. Right? Yeah, when the a value is negative, then it ends up being a sad face. Right? Now you see there the turning point that I'm talking about. There the graph is turning, it's changing direction. Right? This value here, you see from this value, the graph just continues increasing upwards. So this here is known as a minimum turning point, meaning it's the smallest value y would become on this graph. This side here, I have a maximum turning point. You see the graph starts at the bigger y value and it decreases down. Therefore, that would be the biggest value y would become, and therefore the graph decreases. So that is how parabola looks. Hope you see when you have to plot it, that's how it looks. Right? Now if we go further, as my a value increases, my graph becomes narrower for positive a. So what am I saying? They have y equal to x squared. If I increase that to 2x squared, 4x squared, 7x, you see the graph continues becoming narrow and narrow, and it's moving closer towards the y-axis. The other side, as the a decreases, the graph becomes narrower for negative a. So there if we look, I have y equal negative x squared, negative 2x, negative 4x, negative 7x. So you should know minus 7 is smaller than minus 2. So therefore, as this a value decreases, the graph gets closer to the y-axis. Continues becoming narrower and narrower. Right? So you need to understand that. We can ask that as a question. What effect does a have if I increase it or decrease it? Right? We also have a q value. That q value is responsible or in charge of vertical translation. You know, it's the boss. So as my q increases, the graph is shifted up. So if you look here, they have x squared. No? Q value, I write plus 4. If I write plus 4, this increases from 0 to 4 there. So you see the graph moves up. So plus 4, I move 4 units down. If I write minus 3, it goes from 0 to minus 3. So my graph moves 3 units down. So negative, responsible for moving down. Positive, responsible for moving up. So there, as q decreases, the graph is shifted down. So there, by decreasing the q, I subtract minus 3. So if I take now, this is what a negative gradient. I have negative x squared. If I say plus 4, you see that goes from 0 to 4. So that new point becomes 4. Yeah, negative x squared to go to there, I go from 0. If I write minus 3, that goes from 0 to negative 3, and therefore I've moved the trans vertically. So plus moves the graph up with the q value, minus moves the graph down. Right? Horizontal translation, to shift the graph left or right. Horizontal, right? So if we look here, if I take the ax, shifting the graph 2 units left, so it comes x minus p plus 2. My new coordinate would be p minus 2, and my q value is there. Shifting the graph 3 units right, I put it in as negative 3. So you should take note. 3 units right, minus 3. 2 units left, plus 2. Do you see there? So to the left is positive and to the right is negative. Right? That's because we have to simplify. If I simplify p minus 3, to take 3 across the equal sign, it becomes positive 3. But when I put it in as a coordinate, do you see the minus 3 is actually written as plus 3. And there when I put it in as a coordinate, it becomes negative 2. But that will become clearer as we do problems. So when I say horizontal translation, do you see there? That coordinate is 3 and minus 3. There the coordinate becomes 1 and negative 3. There the coordinate becomes 6 and negative 3. So basically what happened, you see that was minus 1. To go from minus 1 to minus 3, I'm going to say minus 1 minus 2 gives me minus 3. And what happened? The graph moved 2 units to my right. So negative took it to the right. If I go from minus 3 to minus 6, minus 3 would give me minus 6. So that minus 6 there then ends up moving the graph another 3 units to my right. And vice versa also applies. And you see the coordinate that's written negative 6, that positive 6. Q always stays as it appears. See there, my Q doesn't change, but that minus 3 gets written as positive 3. And here my minus 1 gets written as plus 1. Right? Domain for parabola will remain x element of real numbers. If you get this question wrong in exam, then seriously, I am worried. Right? But I know you won't, because you are a successful person. Right? Number 2, my range. Right? So if I have a positive graph, you see that if A is bigger than 0, the range is bigger or equal to the Q value. So there if the A value there in front is positive, then Y is greater or equal to my Q value. So there Y would be greater or equal to minus 3. If A is less than 0, meaning my gradient is negative, then Y is less or equal to Q. We can also write it in a different format there. So that's just Q up to positive infinity from negative infinity to Q. Right? Range is the element of that. Right? Hope you understand. All the best. Continue working hard. Let's master this content. God bless. Bye.